What's up guys, Stealthy here, back with another video for you guys. As you can see, I am of the rank of Infinite. I just hit Infinite rank yesterday, and so about 80,000 in the world, which is actually the top 1% of players who play Marvel Snap hit the Infinite rank, so we're up there pretty high among those who play. I just wanted to show you guys the deck that I use to climb Infinite. It's actually the deck that I used to get from about rank 80 all the way up to 100 to get me into this Infinite rank. I tried a few different decks, but this was the one that was just the most successful for me and the one that I most enjoyed. And so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it, guys. So it's a Destroy deck. I'm very big on Destroy. I've always enjoyed playing Destroy, except the issue was that Wave and various things were in the meta, which makes it hard to make death plays with death and like null for your final turn or various different things. And so now Wave is kind of out of the meta because Mobius just came out. And obviously Mobius is pretty bad going into death because it makes our death unable to be discounted. So if you find yourself running into a bunch of Mobiuses, it might be worth you swapping out death. Oftentimes I found with this deck, since we're running Thanos and all of the 1-drops, we're able to destroy stuff so fast with it that we can usually get death down before their Mobius turn. So they decide to drop Mobius. If they drop Mobius on curve, then death is basically unplayable for us. But there's enough Mobius or fear of Mobius in the meta that Wave and various things aren't really in the meta anymore, making death fine for me. I mean, this is the exact deck that I use to climb with Mobius being out. So like, I started playing this deck a little bit before he came out, and then I really pushed for Infinite after he had already been released, and this is the deck that got me there. So Thanos, while all of the stones have inherent abilities that can be super helpful, things like the Time Stone or Reality Stone switching locations or Space Stone getting you into hard to reach locations, they're all great effects. But the main reason we're running Thanos is for all of the additional like 1-drops in the stones. And so we can kill them all off with Killmonger, which is both discounting our death by a bunch and boosting up our null. We can fill lanes with them for Carnage and things like Venom. So a lot of times I found myself using Venom to eat the Power Stone at some point. It's very rare that we're actually like playing Thanos for Thanos and trying to get him that plus 10 power that the Power Stone's going to give. Now I'm not saying that never happened, because that did happen for me in a few games, but the majority of the time it's a 1-3 that Venom's just able to eat, and we're juicing up our Venom, then we can Arnim Zola it last turn, have him eat 2 different lanes, just have massive Venoms. Or since we're using things like X23 and also the Time Stone to grant us additional energy, on our turn 5 we can get a null down, and then our turn 6 we can Arnim Zola our null, which will double our null's power. So obviously null, his power is equal to the combined of destroyed cards, so by the time we get to turn 5, quite a few things have been destroyed. So if we have a 10 power null, then we Arnim Zola it, which destroys the 10 power null and creates 2 20 powered nulls, one in each lane that we had left over. So it's pretty standard with your destroy stuff, the Carnage, Venom, Deathlock. I personally like Bucky Barnes. Nova, I love having all of these 1-drops. It's a very fast-paced destroy deck that just tops off with some high-end 6-drops and things. Yeah, but with the X23 and the stones, we're able to kind of ramp into those 6-drops, making things more easily accessible. And there's just always things to destroy with your destroy cards. I mean, Killmonger, there's so many 1-drops to destroy. Carnage is always destroying things like Wolverine, X23. So with having both of those, there's very sticky things on the board. And Bucky Barnes, I mean, we can Carnage a Bucky Barnes and then Venom both the Carnage and the Bucky, and just make a massive Venom that way. Zola it, create 2. It's pretty straightforward in the lines that you want to take, and it's just, you don't want to be afraid to destroy things. Like, just anything and everything can be destroyed, and it's worth it because it's all going back into our null or discounting our death. And the quicker we get our death out, the better it is for us, because then it can't be Mobius later on. So that's kind of the rundown of the deck, guys. We'll probably jump into a few games here, just kind of showcase what it looks like. But yeah, this was the deck that got me into Infinite, and so I thought I'd share it with you guys because it is very effective for me, and I feel like many other people can have success with this deck if you just kind of learn the ins and outs of it and just how to play it. So let's go ahead and jump into some matches. So our first match, we are up against Mars. We got an armor character icon. We are completely okay with Ninja. Since we are a destroy deck, we'll be able to remove it, no issue. So hopefully that's more of an issue for our opponent. We probably want to open up with the Bucky Barnes. And then we can follow that up with something like a Deathlock. So seeing Craven, they're probably the new move deck that runs Crossbones. It's a very interesting deck, and I'm surprised it's doing so well. But it works out pretty good. We're definitely just going to stick with the Deathlock play. We could do something where we drop Nova and try and get Nova killed as well. But I think we'll just go ahead and save that for next turn.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Hopefully this pulls the Ninja, pulls the Bucky. Okay, well, we have plenty more destroy effects we can use. So now we have to decide if we want to turn off this Dream Dimension, how difficult that'll be for us. Because right now we don't have a whole lot to work with. And so I'm kind of thinking it might be beneficial for us to just kind of set up a destroy lane and then drop Nova. Because our turn 5 we're going to have to destroy things, and then it might just be a turn 6 Thanos. So Jean Grey definitely kind of complicates things for us. We're still not drawing any of our 1-drops, or any of our destroy effects outside of the Deathlock. I think we're gonna go drop the X-23. We will go Killmonger left and go ahead and just drop the Soul Stone left as well. And then we'll just kind of see where to go from here. Because obviously with the New York we'll be able to move things in, and so we can fill up this lane if we need to and play elsewhere. We're fine with the Nightcrawler because we'll be able to destroy the Nightcrawler. So drawing into a Carnage is fine. I think we're going to pull those over and go ahead and Carnage. The amount of stats that we're going to gain from this Carnage is far more than the Thanos, because we're getting a +2 on our Wolverine. Our Carnage will already be 8, so that's 10. And then Bucky's also getting a +4 by switching to the Soldier. And then I think we're fine just leaving everything else left. We're just kind of hoping that this wins, or that Wolverine and X-23 kind of bounce into a different lane to kind of help us out. But even if they stick around, I think we'll have plenty of stats to kind of help win out New York. So it's not snap-worthy, but I think we are feeling pretty confident in the end result of this match. I know it's kind of weird to float 5 energy, but this play is just far better than playing out the 10-powered Thanos. Not too sure what we'll see coming out of our opponent. Probably see them try and win right, I guess, by playing into the Angela. We might see them move the Spider-Man over.
Enough said, bub.
So if Wolverine had actually decided to go mid, we would have tied all the way around, because we would have been at 19. It would have been a difference of 10 zip and 14 to 4. And so we would have actually just had a tie. So that's okay, we took a loss. We weren't too sure what to expect. I guess I probably should have expected the Doom. Doom is pretty typical in this deck. Moving those things over juiced up their Craven, obviously making it a bit more difficult, but that was probably the best play that we had in this situation. I mean, we could have gone Thanos, but I don't think that would have been enough for us to even win this lane. So let's go and jump into another one, guys.
The universe shall be set.
Alright, for the next match, we're up against West Taz. It looks like. Peak is actually pretty interesting for us. Allowing us to get the free Arnhem Zola is pretty big. I think it's worth snapping on, just because we can draw things like we can draw into a death and make our multiplier death, or even better, we can draw into the null and duplicate our null. So I think we're okay with snapping on that. It's unfortunate that our Power Stone got flipped, but the value from the Arnhem Zola is just really good for us. And the Arnhem Zola will allow us to get cards into Luke's bar, which is very helpful for us. At this point, there's nothing really for us to play, so we're just gonna go ahead and pass again. Okay, so Sanctum and Luke's bar, this is really good for us because we have the Zola, and we can do things like play out our Venom. So we're feeling really good. As long as they don't have a Cosmo to drop into this lane, this should be one of the easiest wins for us. Especially having Wolverine. And we'd be okay with Wolverine just bouncing back into this lane so that we can Venom it. So obviously they're gonna have some move pieces like a Nightcrawler, probably a Jeff, maybe even a Vision. So we want to be sure and build up our Venom as big as we possibly can. And Silk, obviously, forgot about Silk.
Enough said, Bob.
That's fine. When it comes down to it, we'll end up eating that again. So we actually don't want to play Bucky in this situation because it'll turn that into a 50-50 with our Venom. And so at this point, I think we go ahead and just Venom and then Arnhem Zola. And I think that's all we're going to really want to do here. It's only 9 power, but 9 power spread across should be okay. And then we'll figure out what we want to do for our turn 6. It looks like it might just be a Thanos play, but we'll see what happens. There would be some merit to just holding off on the Arnhem Zola till next turn, but just because I'm worried, yeah, and that got victory. I was worried about a Shang-Chi or an armor or something to prevent us from being able to do that, so that's why I went ahead and committed to it. And sure enough, it got us the win. Being able to just put the 9-powered Venom, spread it out, and the Wolverine was going to bounce again. It was too good for us. This was such a weird setup, but it was a perfect setup for our deck. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the third match, guys. Alright, for our third match, we're up against LL Cool Dad. The Loki icon, so probably going to be a Loki gamer. I think we're gonna play out the Power Stone, just because it'd be nice to get the Nova buff after the Bucky Barnes flips. So therefore, we want to play Bucky before we play the Nova. And so I think we're just gonna drop the Power Stone left. Nidavellir is an interesting one. We're definitely still okay with just dropping Bucky. I'm gonna go with Bucky right though. I'd rather not put them into Shang-Chi territory. So him flipping from 6 would go up to 11 and easily be Shang-Chi. So at this point, since nothing's flipping, we're in no rush to get down the Deathlock. So we can actually kind of build up a destroy lane. And just because I don't want to be limited to having to play here on turn 5, I'll just go ahead and Reality Stone it, and then we'll look to do probably a Deathlock next turn. Or our opponent will actually retreat. giving us another win. So, not much to showcase on that win. An interesting retreat by our opponent. I think we're feeling alright though with the way our deck was going. We're going to draw 2 additional cards from the stones. Deathlock was going to be able to clean up this lane for us. But yeah, let's go and jump into a 4th and final match for you guys. See what happens. So for the 4th and final match, we're up against Isum 10. I like having Time Stone on turn 1. Nidavellir is actually really good for our Venom and our Null because it allows us to destroy some big powered cards, juicing up both the Venom and the Null. Time Stone is great because it allows us to play out multiple cards as well. So we're feeling pretty good. I'm going to wait and see what this second location is, and we might just snap on what we have here. Xandar is perfectly fine with us. Being able to drop the X23 and the Power Stone. And then I think we'll go ahead and just Reality Stone to play it out, get the card draw. And I think we're okay with snapping because we've got the Venom to play. And the X23 will allow us to gain additional energy to maybe play our Null out a bit early, or even do something like an Arnhem Zola early with the Null. So we draw into our death, so it'll be good to destroy things early on. Our Venom is going to go ahead and just be massive here. And then X23 will go wherever X23 decides to go. This will put us at 5 energy on turn 4, which doesn't have a big impact because we mainly just have the 6 drops. But maybe we can draw into some more destroy stuff and try and make another destroy lane out of this Reality Stone. Having priority is very crucial for us here because this could be like a Cosmo or an Armor or something. So it was very beneficial for us to be able to get to eat that. A Rogue is a very interesting play. A Rogue kind of indicates a few different things. We could be seeing something like Patriot or a Toxic deck of some sort to remove the Luke Cage. Could be something with Surfer. Probably could be to remove Mobius as well, so they might have a Mobius of their own. So with that in mind, it's going to be a good idea for us to just go ahead and play our Death. We have our turn 6 for Venom to just have a massive Venom in these 2 lanes. We're feeling really good about this so far. I was worried that might be a Shang-Chi, so we got very fortunate that it was not. A Psylocke, so this is looking like it's probably a negative deck of some sort. It's very unfortunate for us that things are about to bounce with this lane. So we might just hope to get lucky, destroy. It's not really going to clean up anything, but we don't really have a better play. So worst comes to worst, even if they do bounce over into this lane, I mean, we're going to have a very large Null to be able to play. If they do Shang-Chi, the Null will just be able to win another lane for us. So we're feeling very good right now. See an Iron Man come down, that's okay. That's actually perfect and what I would want to happen because we're going to obviously forfeit left, and now we can just Null with a Mind Stone. And honestly, on the chance, the off chance that it's a tiebreaker, I think playing the Mind Stone left because it's worth 6 power will be better for us in the point differential. I don't think it's going to matter being a difference of 24 to 25 points in this lane. So as long as I don't have Shang-Chi, I'm feeling really good. Mystique is fine.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, Mystique into a Wolfsbane, easy lane win for us.
Victory!
So as you guys can see, I mean, in 3 lanes, we had 35 power, 24, and 24 power. This deck has some potential to generate some crazy amounts of power, and when you're just generating power numbers like this, even decks with 5-powered Iron Mans aren't having, they can't compete with stuff like this. because they had to commit so much to this lane just to win it when we got 24 in each of the other lanes. So as you can see, guys, this deck can generate some crazy power, very effective. This is the exact deck that I used to climb from about rank 80, 85, all the way up to infinite. And so good 15 ranks of climbing. It's a very effective deck. It's not very common in the meta. Not hardly anybody is playing Destroy. I mean, we just went through 4 games and not a single person's playing Destroy. Of course, this is also already in Infinite, so a lot of people are just kind of experimenting with decks once you get to Infinite at this point. So, like, obviously this deck, I feel like it's probably a negative deck to some degree. It's looking very much like a negative deck. And negative decks just in general aren't that great unless you hit your negative and you high roll with it. So they're very chancy kind of decks. And this one's just a very consistent, high-powered yielding deck. So we went 3-1, 75% win rate. Obviously, it's just in 4 games, but we got, I believe, we got 7 cubes and then lost 2, so a net of 5 cubes across 4 games. That's pretty good. That's over a 1 cube win rate, which is some solid stats. So I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Try it out. It worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you guys too. Obviously, new season is dropping tomorrow, so the meta could easily switch up drastically, especially with Elsa Bloodstone. I think there's going to be a lot more 1-drops and Kitty coming around, which might just put this deck in an even better spot because we run the Killmonger and we destroy 1-drops. We're all for destroying 1-drops as we're playing Thanos. So, who knows, this deck could potentially be even better in the next meta. We'll just have to see what happens come tomorrow once the new season drops. But, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.